the meeting of the Rhode Island Bridge and Turnpike Authority to order. First item on the agenda is public comment. Do we have anyone here that would like to speak under public comment? Okay. Next is to approve the minutes of the meeting which was held on September the 24th, 2025. Do I have a motion? Motion by Peter, second by Karen. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you. Next is the Evans Avenue Bridge task order.
Yep, I'll take that.
Yes, sir.
The latest routine inspection of Evans Avenue Bridge noted several areas of undermining under both abutment footings. No signs of distress or settlement were observed. However, a recommendation was made to fill the voids below the abutment with a self-consolidating concrete or pressure drop. RIPA staff discussed this recommendation with Commonwealth Engineers and Consultants Incorporated, and one of our on-call consultants. They actually originally designed the bridge as part of the new Secana River Bridge project bundle. RIPA staff requested Commonwealth to submit a proposal to inspect the issue, develop an invitation for bid with plan sketches and material specifications for public bid, and to provide oversight of the construction. Commonwealth submitted the attached proposal in the amount not to exceed $19,800. The costs included in the proposal were reviewed by RIPA staff and determined to be reasonable. $50,000 was budgeted for the undermining to be corrected, which includes both Commonwealth's efforts and the construction costs. RIPA staff recommends approval of the attached proposal by Commonwealth in the total amount not to exceed $19,980.
Do I have a motion? We have a motion by Karen, second by Peter. Questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you, Eric.
Sure, thank you.
Next is the my favorite one, the HVAC for the building.
I'll take that one as well. Aero Mechanical Incorporated is under contract for the admin building HVAC improvements in the amount not to exceed $414,950. AI Engineers is the project designer and is under contract to provide construction support services. Aero has submitted 2 change order requests. Change order request number 1 is for $6,797 and it's to furnish and install seismically rated roof curbs for the rooftop units. Seismic rated curbs were not included in the original design bid documents, but it was discovered that the current curbs are actually rated for seismic. Therefore, the new units will be installed on rated curbs to maintain the existing engineering standard, and AI has reviewed and concurred with this change order request. Change order number 3, change order number 2, just for the record, was one that they submitted that we didn't need. So for file keeping, they numbered at number 3. Change order number 3 is for $8,897, and it's for additional bridging and blocking required for the support of the large ceiling fans. Aero investigated and discovered different structural truss details than were represented in the design plans during the pre-construction review. Change order number 3 requests reflects the extra work that will be required to mount the fans with updated blocking and bracing. AI has reviewed and concurred with this change order request. Please note, I already talked about change order 2, sorry. The executive director has exercised her authority granted by the board to approve the change orders in advance of the next scheduled board meeting so as not to delay further and maintain the schedule. RIPA staff recommend approval of these 2 change orders in the total amount not to exceed $15,694.
Okay, well, I'm motioned, but these change orders have already taken place.
Only one so far. If you look up where they installed the ceiling fans, they did the blocking work so far. The seismic curbs, that may have taken place because they probably had water that they had. Yeah.
And they and these things were unknown prior to until they started getting into it.
What was shown on the design plans for the building that we provided to the contractor was not what they discovered up inside the ceiling. There was a change to the ceiling detail during construction that wasn't anywhere reflected on the design plans. So they discovered the difference.
So now that winter's here, will we have air conditioning?
Yeah.
Actually, my question is, how is the timing proceeding on this?
The units are came, right? So they're just finishing the electrical work for all they did the fan installs, they're running the electrical to the fans, and then also have to run the electrical up to the rooftop, and then they'll put 3 units in.
but we'll be fine for I think what Peter's getting to will be fine for next year.
Oh,
Yes.
this
Oh,
should
yeah.
be completed within the month, less than a month.
Okay.
Okay, good, thanks.
So we have a motion, do we have a second? Second by Charles and Karen, discussion, hearing none. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you, Eric.
Sure.
Next is the capital project status report.
Yeah, I'll take that one as well. So Mount Hope Bridge dehumidification project, we executed the construction contract, and the contractor has started doing shop drawings. So we've got a bunch of shop, 159 or something shop drawings that have to be done for this project. It's quite involved. So they've already got a bunch of shop drawings in process, and they're going back and forth between the contractor and the designer. They also went out this week on Mount Hope and did some pre-inspection work. They're looking at the catwalks, just getting prepared for this project to see where they're going to need to do some strengthening, because the catwalks will be supporting a lot of the piping that will be installed for this project. The Infra Program Management, HDR, is currently working on value engineering for the project bundle, which is required by the federal funding grant, and this will involve all three designers and will be basically a 3-day effort that we'll be hosting here in the conference room. And part of it will look at where we can save money. It may also look at things like combining projects, constructability, things like that. So it's required by the feds, but it's something that we would have done anyways. So that's one thing that they're working on for us right now. In the deck project, we're working towards 90% design, which will be in for December. We have already started considering combining the deck and the tower project, and if we do so, we're looking at probably going out to bid by February for both of those projects. Dehumidification for the Pell, they submitted their inspection results. That was 80 pound, and they're working towards their 30% design. Part of that 30% design will be a cable airflow test bid contract that we'll be putting out that will educate them on the spacing of the injection and exhaust ports, similar to what they did on the Mount Hope Bridge. The steel repairs and joint replacement construction for Fishing Pier Access Bridge and Jamestown Verrazano Bridge is ongoing. They've been working on the eastbound Fishing Pier Access Bridge. They plan on finishing that up in the next couple of weeks, and then they'll be demobilizing for winter, and they'll come back in the spring, start on the westbound Fishing Pier Access Bridge and on the Jamestown Bridge joints. HVAC we spoke about just a few moments ago. Vessel strike vulnerability assessment for Newport Pell Bridge. We have a draft report that came in that we are currently reviewing. And let's see, on inspections, we just started the most recent routine inspection for Pell. And we'll be doing an interim inspection on Mount Hope in the next couple of months. And we are starting next month the underwater inspection for Mount Hope Bridge next month as well. And one thing I just wanted to also mention is, as of last week, Kyle Benoit has joined. He's already been part of the engineering team, but he's joining us as an assistant project manager, and we'll be backfilling his ITS position with a new employee.
Thank you. Welcome. Question.
Sure.
With the government shutdown and all, have any of our funds for any of the projects been held up? Or?
Nope.
No, everything we're owed is
Yep.
we've received.
Yes.
Right. And do you foresee any holdups in the future? Or?
All of our monies have been fully obligated, and they're covered underneath the trust fund, which is still flowing. So,
Well, yeah, I thought I read something where, but you never know what you read anymore. So.
yeah, I know.
There was the most recent article, I think, talked about $11 billion that's being deposited, but it had to do with Army Corps projects.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I read that article, but I thought I read something where, again, you don't know if it was really generated. Well, I don't anyway. But, I need my grandkids to tell me what's right and what's wrong. You know? Anyway, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next is the financial report.
Sure. Versus budget, Year-to-date revenue was up nearly $800,000, primarily due to higher vehicle traffic of 1.4% and a higher average revenue per vehicle of $2.80 versus a budget of $2.46. Year-to-date operating expenses are lower by $300,000, primarily due to 7 open positions and the timing of the purchase of postage. Versus last year, year-to-date revenue is lower by approximately $200,000, primarily due to lower bill by mail revenue and lower violation fees. That is partially offset by higher Easy Pass revenue. Year-to-date operating expenses are higher by approximately $325,000, primarily due to higher telephony costs in support of the amount of incoming calls to our customer service department, higher volume of DMV license plate lookups, and a higher number of bridge inspections. That's just a real brief summary, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have on my detailed commentary.
Any questions from Jeff? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next is the Executive Director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. I'd like to just go through some of the most important items that we've been addressing in the recent months. Customer service initiatives and study. As you know, we have been very focused on improving customer service. We can always do better. We want our tolling customers to have a good experience, whether they are calling us, trying to reach us by access their accounts on the internet, or paying a toll that has been billed to them and sent to them in the mail. So we have taken various measures to improve our customer service. We've also undertaken a study. That study was most definitely called for by the fact that we went all electronic several years ago now. So our business is not the business that we used to have years ago when we had toll booths out here, and the arm didn't raise unless you paid your toll. So we are in the process of getting that study. That study is being completed now. Many of the recommendations we've worked that we expect to see, we've already implemented and made some improvements. So we should have customers who are find that they have more options for dealing with tolls that they incur over our only toll point in the state of Rhode Island, which is the Pell Bridge. And we're hoping that we will implement even more improvements. The Mount Hope Bridge resurfacing, as you know, we did that in August. We did note some blemishes in the surface after that. We worked with Lynch and Sons to address the issues. I travel that bridge probably at least three times a week, or if not more, and on the weekends I'm always scouring it for how it looks. The rideability is excellent, and it also we're tending to it. We know it is not a permanent solution, and that there will be a redecking project approximately 5 years out. But in the meantime, we continue to monitor it and make certain that it's a beautiful riding surface. Infra and Protect grants, Mr. Chair, you've already asked about them. We do check, we make certain that the grants are still in place. As Jeff noted, they are fully obligated, they are fully signed. We've been asked to sign amendments, which I take as an encouraging factor, because that tells us where our money is intact. So those grants are intact. We are moving forward with those projects as Eric has already outlined. One thing I do want to note, I see as a challenge for us, and that is communication. Come spring and summer of the year ahead, we will have the Pell Bridge under construction with the deck, the completion of the hydro demolition of the deck. We will have the Mount Hope Bridge dehumidification process in process at the Mount Hope Bridge. We will have upstate the Washington Bridge under construction. So we are going to have work zones on bridges all over the state. So, we will be making choices as we look at our phones and decide how best to get from point A to point B. But all of this work, of course, I like to think it's all positive because it says we're paying attention and that we're doing the work that needs to be done. The Pell Bridge, it was about 40%, Eric, would you say? 40% of the deck was done as COVID, as we were in the throes of COVID, actually, up until then. We paused that project to let RIDOT do the ramp project into the city of Newport. Now we're finishing it, so approximately the other 60% of the bridge, of the Pell Bridge, needs to be hydro demolished and then matched up with the 40% that was done as COVID was happening in 2020.
And how
So
long will that take?
that will take several years.
About 3 years.
We will use the barrier to set that up, and we will take a page from our own historical book and make certain that our communication with all the stakeholders is early and often, so that everyone knows how many lanes will be available at what times of the day, so that you can travel with the least amount of inconvenience and gauge as best you can how much additional time you need to get to a doctor's appointment, to get to work, to get to school. If you're
I think Charles had a question.
No, do we have an idea what time? What time is it? June, July, August? Because we're going to have a pretty busy season starting this year, especially with 3 events. We have Juneteenth, we have the Taylor Swift wedding, we have, and the soccer. So how do we gauge for tourism coming in and out of Newport? What time? Do you have that's what I want to know. Is it gauged according to those time schedules?
It's gauged according to the preparations that we make with contractors, and Eric, if you want to speak to that a little bit in terms of contractors have already been engaged to oversee the project, and then there's the question of all the preparation that has to be made to actually begin. For you to see work and for you to be in your car and to be impacted by what's happening.
You probably won't see construction on the bridge until either very late summer or early fall. But then once that starts, it'll be a 3 years worth of construction.
Okay.
So, there's a winter shutdown on the deck because there's snowplow issues, right? So to have 2 lanes of barrier on the deck would be problematic for plowing. So they'll have to take the barrier off, put the median barrier back. They won't work on the deck itself during the winter. They'll probably they're going to be redoing the finger joints at the main towers. A lot of that work can be done in the winter, so they'll still be doing daily lane closures to do some of that work, but they won't have a permanent lane closure set up during the winter. But then they'll start again in the spring on the deck, and they'll bring the barrier back up and keep going.
Karen?
I'm just curious, what is hydro demolition? What is that process like?
It's high pressure water blasting. The beauty of it is so that in the early phases of hydro demolition, it was challenging because contractors didn't know how to set the pressure. And back when I worked at RIDOT years ago, there was a bridge that we did in Richmond that contractor blew it to Swiss cheese because he just didn't know how
Is that the one
to calibrate the machine. So we went out and looked, and there were holes blown through it and everything. And it all worked out in the end, but they've come a long way. So what they do is they calibrate the pressure to take down a certain depth of concrete. And it will still vary as they go across, because what it's doing is it's taking out the bad concrete, leaving the good. So you'll have a very irregular surface, and that's actually a good thing for the bond of the overlay of the new concrete, because it makes it bond even better when you have that irregular surface. So they'll take down the concrete. We're going to determine during value engineering and design whether we go down below the first mat of rebar or whether we go down to it and use a high performance material on that. So it's still some of that.
What determines how far down you go?
The pressure that you set, the water pressure that comes out of the machine will remove concrete deeper or shallower, and the condition of the concrete. It's really a combination. So you can have set water pressure, and the machine will go across the deck, and if you hit an area of good concrete, it's going to remove less concrete because it's stronger. But if you hit an area of punky concrete, it'll take it down deeper. You might even have a full depth blow through. And then you go underneath and you put formwork, and then, when you pour the new deck, it'll fill everything right in.
This isn't the Turnpike and Bridge Authority's first rodeo in terms of hydro demolition, because we did do phase one, and
Right.
approximately 40%. We are learning, we're making certain that we learn from the communications efforts that we made and the way we configured the barrier on the bridge, trying always to leave 2 lanes, 2 lanes in the direction that in which most of the traffic is traveling. So during rush hour, wherever the rush hour traffic is, we will try to keep 2 lanes available. Communication will be a lot of the game, and we are looking at what was done in the past to make certain that we don't repeat mistakes, and that we take the best of the measures that we put in place when we did the 40%. I was just coming in as executive director when we were doing that first phase of hydro demolition, and I know that we were getting a lot of compliments saying that we had made corrections as to how it was being done, and that it was going much more smoothly. So as I say, we're going to learn, make certain that we do the things we did well again, and make certain that we avoid anything that's an issue. So, but it will be exciting times in Rhode Island, because there is going to be there will be bridge work zones pretty much on all of the major bridge structures in the state. So it will be, but we have to look toward the future, and we have to make certain that we take care of these bridges. So we'll do our best not to inconvenience anyone too much, and for all of the events that are planned. We'll make certain that the planners, the Discover Newports, the chambers, all of the stakeholders know what's happening so that they can best plan for that. I wanted to mention the IBTTA annual meeting. That's the International Bridge, Tunnel, and Turnpike Association. The annual meeting took place in Denver last week. I'm always amazed at how much we can get out of this. We all visit past events to learn from the past. We visit the present and what's going on in all aspects of operating bridges, tunnels, and turnpikes, whether it's tolling, engineering, all of the different aspects of that. And of course, we prepare for the future. What's coming? What will be changing in tolling? What will be changing in how bridges are constructed in the future, or how traffic is handled in the future? Safety is a major concern. The various topics that are addressed come home. They hit home, and we get value. I get value even before I leave. And I'll give you an example. We had another round of smishing. By now, you all know that that's SMS, which is short message. I always forget what the third S is, but it's texting. It's fraudulent texting to your phones saying you owe $1 million for tolls and click here and do this and do that. Our message to our customers: we will never text you. But while I was at the meeting, I was in a breakout session, and I was receiving messages from here saying there's smishing going on, a new round of smishing. Person next to me was able to say, I can help you with that. I have a group. Give me the number. They were able to shut down at least that line. Now, are there many other originators of smishing? There sure are. But that one, that one action taken shut down a significant portion of the smishing that was coming through at least that morning. So, and that's available to us. Those resources, other agencies, and things that they have perfected and they focused on help us. So, and in the future, what I'd like to do is maybe include 1 or 2 items like that to tell you what the IBTTA is focused on, and how we are benefiting, how the Rhode Island Turnpike and Bridge Authority is benefiting from efforts that they're making to keep us all advised. And then the final thing is that the next board meeting is scheduled for November 19th, 2025. And that's it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Charles?
I must say thank you for the smishing. It's only taken me a year to stop them from sending me texts. And I had to send each time cease and desist or face criminal prosecution. But still, it went one would read, then another one and another one, till finally, after a year, they stopped coming.
Glad to hear that.
They're started again.
Yeah, here they are. Yeah, they heard you talking about them.
We'll show you.
Okay. Further comments, discussion? Hearing none, motion to adjourn? There you go. Okay.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
you.